right in the direction of where we were looking for Karula earlier. They could even find her. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time that we've had or Karula's had an encounter with wild dogs. It would be the second time. No, it would be the third time in 3 months that I have seen a Karula in some way interacting with these fantastic animals. And to see the interaction between the various predators is always an absolute pleasure. It's a fascinating thing to witness. Hold on, everybody. We've got to go around some big trees. We are going to try and stay with them. They're very, very difficult at times. Whoopsie. Hold on, Liam. And this is why we say wild dogs are so incredibly exciting. Now, they're rumored to be one of the animals with the highest hunting success rate, and that's because of their hunting strategy. Rather than trying to sneak forward and creep up on their prey in the same way lions and leopards do, these wild dogs actually constantly course through the bush, which is exactly what they're doing now. Where have they gone? Hold on. And keep an eye out for leopards up in the trees. Hold on. Okay. They're moving through some very dense vegetation off to my left, so we've got to go around. And Carisha, you say that your one-word description of seeing wild dogs is exhilarating. Mauricia, you say that your one-word description is exhilarating. Sorry, Mauricia, that's a regular name. I thought perhaps you were a new viewer, but Mauritia's been watching for as long as I've been working at Safari Live. I can just see the tips of their white tails ahead of me. Oh my goodness, hold on. This is why they are so exhilarating. There they just see how fast they're going. So while we are racing off after them, as they disappear into the dense vegetation, white tails are flashing through the bush, I'm going to keep racing after them, try and get ahead of them. Let's go across to James in the tent so he can tell you a bit more about them.
They are so cool. They are definitely my favorite animal out here. Isn't that just the best thing? Good. Now, we'll definitely catch up with them again and you'll have a closer look. This is the size of a wild dog's head. So roughly the size of, I reckon, about an Alsatian size, a German Shepherd or so. And that's it there. It's really rather terrifying teeth. You can see that it has there. Of course, rather like that is a baby crying in the background. Please don't worry about it. It is not under attack. Now, what some of the things that it is going to find in that bush, these are 3 of the things that it might try and eat. The first is the steenbok, smallest antelope that we get here. This one obviously long dead. The second would be a grey duiker over here, a little bit bigger, probably about 35 to 40 pounds or so. And then those chaps, I mean, there's only 3 of them, but they could take down an Impala, of course, which a big male like this was probably around about 140 pounds when he died. But female and the youngsters, slightly lighter than that, between 100 and 120 pounds. And of course, if there is an Impala lamb, they're just about to be born, then that will be ideal, and that'll be about steenbok sized. That's about 20 pounds. So those are the 3 major prey species that a wild dog would go for. And you can see, whoops, this one has lost a tooth. Never mind, we'll have to glue it back in there. You can see that although it's quite a big dog, they're very slight, obviously. They're not muscly in the same way that an Alsatian or a Ridgeback might be, but they're certainly more than capable of taking down animals of this size. About the same size head-wise as an Impala, of course, but you will find that their bodies are much lighter, much leaner. Now, my one word for wild dogs, and is probably quite unoriginal, it's happy. They make me feel really happy, and I find them so happy-making because they're egalitarian. They love being around each other, they love feeding each other, they look after their old, they look after their sick, and I find out here, and in fact in our own species, those sorts of things are qualities that are very rare indeed, and that's why I quite like them a lot. Right, there we go. That is the wild dog, a very vast fellow indeed. Now, while Jamie does her best to find them, I'll show you something else. Let me just put this here. Sorry, Matt Attack, I missed your question. We're just going to have it again. I've become so excited. Oh, Matt Attack, you say, do wild dogs lose most of their kills because they make a lot of noise? It's a very, very good question. And the question, of course, is valid in an area where there are lots of hyenas, for example. Yes, they do make a lot of noise. They whoop and they squeal and they twitter. For those of you who don't know, they go... They're not really like that, but they sound like a pack of enraged birds when they catch something and they share the kills, and that does attract other predators, and it would in fact attract something like the animal that ate that. That would be a hyena, and they have much more powerful jaws than a wild dog has. Wild dog would never be able to do that to a bone. But because they eat so fast, Matt Attack, what you find is that they often feed and disappear before things like hyenas can come in. But I have seen many, many incidents where wild dogs and hyenas have fought over kills, and that's been when wild dogs have killed something, not finished it in time, made the noise like you said, and the hyenas have come in. Right, Jamie's still on the trail. Let's go and find out how she's doing.
Well, remember earlier where I stopped to have a look at a wild dog, or draw a leopard track? Well, here the wild dogs are. They've popped out right here. And this is the joy of our live safaris, is that we just never know which direction the afternoon is going to go in. And who would have thought that we'd be racing through the bush, trying desperately to keep up with a pack of wild dogs. Rex, I'm behind you. Sorry, everybody, we just have to all communicate between us to make sure we don't lose them, and they could actually disappear any moment now. They're going through a very, very dense area, and there are some places even we can't get our vehicles. Gail, your one-word tweet is energized, and that we certainly are. We are all thoroughly energized as we race after the wild dogs. And you can see there's some guests having an amazing time with their professional guides, taking them around, following the animals. Okay, let's go around and onto Elephant Skull Road. Hi guys. Let's see if we can't catch up with them. Now these wild dogs are running. I had my foot absolutely flat on the accelerator at one point. And we were talking about it earlier between us as guides, the fact that these dogs, you can be traveling at nearly 60 kilometers an hour, which is easily just over 30 miles per hour, and they're still out running us, which is why we have to be so energized whenever we follow them. Hold on, everybody. While we race off after them, some of the most incredible experiences we have had with African wild dog, and I know that James can attest to this, is on foot. Luca, you were wondering if there are any recorded cases of wild dogs attacking humans. Luca, I have never ever in all my time in the bush ever heard of an attack on a human being. They are an animal that has a natural sense of curiosity and playfulness and an exceptional intelligence, which means that sometimes, yes, they do go up and they look at human beings on foot, but no. There, you got them. Well done, Wiem. Yes, I see them. Hold on. They are not a naturally aggressive creature. They're just very, very fast. There they go. They're going to go racing in front of us. I'm actually going to stick on the road for now. It'll give us a slightly easier passage to try and follow them. They're basically just cutting the corner. So hold on, things might get a little bumpy. The camera might bump all over the place, but that's half the joy of live. Now what they're doing at the moment is they're moving through the vegetation, and they are what I described earlier as coursing, which means that they're looking to flush things like small antelope, and as soon as they manage that, they chase their prey down and catch them. Now, wild dogs have this terrible reputation as being very vicious hunters, very cruel hunters. Oh my goodness, they no time to delay. They're almost at the next junction. But they're actually not. They're actually very efficient, very rapid killers in terms of the prey that they catch. We just have to navigate around.
Now the lions have got up. How exciting was that? Wild dogs, it's my favorite animal. I'm a little bit jealous. And my one word for the African wild dogs is exhilarating. Now, I know Jamie disappeared unexpectedly. We are live out in the middle of the African bush. Hopefully she'll be back shortly. But we've got lions that are starting to get on the move, and I'm hoping they're going to go hunting. Now, the rest of the pride has already gone down and through the riverbed, and now the last adult female and the last cubs are following. Now, the male will follow, but he'll generally take a bit more time. Here we go. I can hear the other lions calling to them on the other side of the river. Yeah, that oof, oof. Oh, quickly back across to Jamie. No, not back to Jamie. We're back with us. So let me just go a bit further forward. Let's have a look where those lions are going. There we go. You can see them. Some of them have already crossed the riverbed, and there could be some greeting ceremony. Let me go a bit further forward. Now, with social animals like lions, it's these moments as they start getting moving, where they greet, touch faces, they play. They're absolutely incredibly special moments that you are getting to witness live with us here in the middle of the African bush. Remember, #SafariLive if you've got any questions about any of the fantastic animals we have out here. So I want to stay and watch where they're going. And while we plan what to do next, let's go back to the most endangered canid in southern Africa with Jamie.
And as Brent described them, the most endangered canid, an African wild dog pack, and they finally stopped long enough for me to be able to tell you that it is 2 males and 1 female. Now, if my suspicions are correct, this is in fact a dispersal pack. In other words, a pack that has moved off on its own in search of new territories, new areas, and new mating opportunities. So away from a much larger pack. And as far as I know, this trio is from a pack known as the Lower Sabi pack, which is a camp in the Kruger National Park, which means they've easily covered a distance of close to 70 to 100 kilometers from their original range that they would have been born into and that they would have moved around in. And they're essentially in the process of forming their new pack. So there's the female on the left, okay, now on the right, and the male on the left. And they're slowly but surely moving into some dense vegetation. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave them so that we can make space for other vehicles that have arrived and want to be able to share the sighting with as many, share it with as many guests as possible. So at this point, we're going to let them move off. We'll keep an ear on the Game Drive channel so that I can hear where they go, and we will catch up with them a little bit later, fingers crossed. They have moved into a very dense area, so we won't be able to follow them. I'm going to try, oh, there we go, oh, no. I was going to say for one last view. We're going to hang around this area and hope that they do pop out and that we can have a chance to sit with them and to spend a little bit of time with them. Isn't that exciting? There is nothing like spending a little bit of time with wild dogs. Alright, I'm going to head back to where Karula was and see whether or not she's popped out with the chase of the wild dog. In the meantime, Brent hasn't had to go too far. He's still with those amazing lions.
Some of them are snoozing, some of them are walking. They're all around us at the moment. We are literally surrounded by lions on all fronts. So we've got a big male lion who's lying right next to me, and he's watching where the ladies are going. He's trying to decide whether he's going to get up and follow. There he is there. Hello, big boy. There's one cub that we just saw sleeping over there, and there's quite a lot of movement of the others all around us. There we go, he's watching them. Oh, look, there we go. There's some stretching starting to happen. Look at that. There's a little cub playing on the tree. Now, as we had to dash across to Jamie for the incredibly quick wild dogs. Oh, look at that. Cleaning its claws. Just like your domestic house cat would do. Using a tambushi tree. Now, when you start seeing this type of behavior, it's a good precursor to movement in lions. Stretching, grooming. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get moving immediately. Sometimes lions can take a while to wake up. Now, as I said, we had to dash across to Jamie. Now we can do a little game I want to play with everyone, which is called Two Truths and One Lie. Now, my first statement is, can you get, or you do get, let me rephrase, lionesses that develop manes like the male. My second is that you do get lions in India. India? I thought there were tigers in India, but are there lions as well? That is the question. And the third and final one is, let's look at him quickly, sorry. I will say it to you now, but wow, we've got a massive male lion on the move. Oh, stretch! And the third and final one is, you don't get maneless male lions. You don't get maneless male lions. So number one, you can have female lions with manes. And number two, lions occur in India. And number three, you don't get maneless male lions. There's a three, so find out which one's the true one, or which one's the lie, sorry. So 2 truths and a lie, so 2 of those statements are correct, and one is hogswaddle. Now, as I said, we're getting all these lovely signs of lions on the move shortly, so this is going to be quite exciting for the rest of the afternoon as we follow these lions. I think they're going to go out hunting. They're looking quite hungry, and who knows what they might find as they move away from this riverbed. Are they going to find a buffalo, or a giraffe, or a kudu, or an impala, and will they be successful? That we can only find out as we stick with them throughout the rest of this safari. Now, interestingly enough, lions only have about a 10 to 15% success rate. So we often see them chase. We don't often see them catch. Now, to see if these lions are going to up the odds, are they better than the other lions? Are they going to be successful? You're going to have to stick with us for the rest of the show to find out. Okay, now exciting times. The Nkahumas look like they're on the move. The male's gone off, and other lioness has already crossed the drainage line, and these lions are definitely waking up. Looks like a second female is starting to follow. We saw 4 adult females when we arrived. Now, it is a bit of a if they do head sort of to the west, northwest, it is a bit of a tricky area. Now, we're going to have to try find a way to cross this river system. Did you hear that, Brian? Last remaining cub, who's being very lazy this evening. He's having a snooze over there. I can hear her calling. So she wants to get all the cubs together. And they might stash them here, and she's just making sure they're all about before the lionesses go off hunting. Now, sometimes the cubs might be with them when they're on the move and they start hunting. Other times, they'll leave the cubs sleeping in a thicket while they go in search of a potential prey. Now I have counted 7 cubs. Now let's just have a look. I must remember that there is a possibility that this cub could also be injured, but it looks relatively okay. And see what happens. normally that cub would have at least lifted its head. So it is possible that this cub isn't doing too well as well. She's sniffing its urine and phlegm and grimacing at the moment. I did have a report from Rexon that he said he saw one of the cubs looking a little bit ill and skinny. I wonder if that's that cub. Now, another lioness has just called to her, so she's left that cub. Here it is. We can hear all the little contact calls from the rest of the pride. They're definitely going to be on the move, so fingers crossed we can follow them as they hunt through the African bush. But let's go see what Commander Bond, James Henry, is up to in his office.
Well, that is a little bit distressing, isn't it? Anyway, we've got 30 seconds to get back to our TV audience, and so we'll sit and... well, I'll just sit here and kind of talk about bits and pieces. Of course, we have lost one of those cubs, and that's really very sad indeed, and that one doesn't look so good. And for a little while now, I've been watching them, and 2 or 3, I've said, look at their hips. Anyway, we'll see you just now. This is a fake black screen we're playing, by the way, in case you're wondering. Not black. Now there's a disclaimer. Welcome back, everybody, to your live safari. My name is James Henry. You've been with Brent and the lions. Most excitingly, you've been with Jamie and wild dogs, the most wonderful animals. Steph is out on foot. He's lost a bit of signal, of course, but that's okay. He'll hopefully be back with us very shortly. Now, while we wait and see if Jamie can't see those wild dogs again, and Brent is, of course, is knocking about still with those lions, I just wanted to tell you, of course, remember, we had a wonderful question about whether wild dogs are good on foot, whether you can view them on foot, whether they're dangerous to human beings. One of my very first experiences as a guide was when I was training. We were sent out to walk on foot on our own, unarmed, and I was armed with a sort of stick that I thought was going to protect me, a radio, and a first aid kit that had in it a safety pin, an elastoplast, and a condom. I'm not entirely sure what any of those things were going to do if a buffalo had attacked me, but that's what I was sent out with. And one of the first big game experiences I had was with wild dogs. I came across 20 of them, and they stopped and they looked at me, and I had no idea what these things were like. I'd seen them in books, I'd read about them, I didn't know if they were dangerous, and I froze, and I stared at them, and they stared back at me, and I thought, well, I've got to behave in a slightly aggressive fashion, or they're going to think I'm scared, which I was. I was terrified, and I went, "Voetsak!" And voetsak, of course, is a word that you probably don't understand, but yet you do understand. You've never heard it before, but basically it's an Afrikaans word that means go away with great haste, please. And what they did was they dispersed, and I was left feeling bereft, that clearly they were of no threat to me, and I could have probably spent 20 minutes just standing there with them on foot, and it would have been wonderful. I've since had some wonderful experiences with wild dogs on foot. They are the best as far as I'm concerned. Now, just have a look over here. This is a mushroom, and it's popped up as a result of the rain, and you can see that it is rather special. And in those little folds were the spores of this microscope of this mushroom, and the mushroom spores now, I suspect, have already dispersed, and they've gone off, and this mushroom will probably be eaten by something like a giant land snail. So that will be quite interesting indeed. Now, when we do go back to Brent, please be aware there is a lion that seems to be slightly injured. We're not sure if it's sick. I'm personally going down the road of disease, but Brent is still there with it. If you are a sensitive viewer, please hold yourself. Don't turn away. You do need to see this. This is nature. This is Africa. This is raw, as Brent will explain to you now.
So we're not with that cub that's looking a little bit sick. We're with 2 of the adult lionesses and the rest of the cubs. Now, the rest of these cubs are looking really healthy and well. So it's just the one who's lying up behind us now. And that female, it's so heart-wrenching as she comes up and tries to call at the cub. Now, these lions have had a really good run of it, and with this drought, they've been eating lots and lots of buffalo. Nature needs disease and injuries to lions to help balance the numbers. It's really difficult for us to deal with. Often, since we've watched these cubs since they were tiny little things, and we have to watch them suffer, and it is very difficult. But it's not our place to now start interfering. I mean, this is a perfect system. We're out in the bush. It's nature at its most magnificent, but also sometimes at the most heart-wrenching. It's raw, it's unscripted, it's unedited, it's life. And we're in Eden, and we don't want to start messing with Eden. As soon as people start playing with nature, oh, listen to that. Such a happy sound of little lion cubs. Even though I know I'm talking about something so sad, there's always a positive side to it. Listen to them talking. Okay, so it's time for the answers to two truths and one lie. So fact one, which is that you can get lionesses who have manes. 21% of you thought that was the lie. Fact two, which was there are lions in India. 22% of you thought that was the lie. And the lie was, of course, fact three. And 55% of you were spot on. And that is that you don't get maneless male lions. You do, as you can get females with manes. You can get manes with females with I've myself. So as you can get females with manes, you can have males without. And well done to Christian and Paul, two of that 55% who got that spot on. Now, here we go. Where are these lions going to? So from what I can see, we've got two adult lionesses lying up here. So there were four. One's missing, the third is down in the riverbed, but I can only see three of the adults. Have you got him? And the Authority, which is the name of that big male lion, the Birmingham boy, he's gone across to the other side of the river again, as he did yesterday, strangely enough. There we go, that's two adults there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so about 5 of the cubs, all in one little pile in that Timberti thicket there. Okay, so as I said, lions don't always just get up and move. They've started the sort of greeting ceremonies that might lead to a bit of movement. But now, while we wait to see what happens next, let's go see how Steph's faring as he tromps around the African bush.
Yes, I am Steph, and for those of you who have just joined, we're on foot on the bushwalk part of this PM safari that we're on at the moment. And while Brent and Jamie have been showing you all those amazing things, we've been walking around here in this thick bush looking for an elephant that we were with just a few minutes ago. Now some of you might be asking to yourself, what are we doing walking around in the bush when all these dangerous animals are there? Well, it's exactly that. It's for us to show you a different aspect to the way that safaris are done. All over Africa, safaris are done in both vehicles and on foot, and it just adds a lovely dynamic. And I'm hoping that over the next couple of minutes I can show you exactly what that dynamic is. Now, there was an elephant at about that big tree there. We came out a little bit, elephant went through into this thick bush. We don't want to follow elephant into thick bush like this. They can get quite cantankerous when you give them a fright in close quarters. So we're just waiting for this elephant to move out on the other side of this thicket, and then hopefully we'll be able to show it to you again. Trick with elephant: always think about wind direction. Right now, no breeze, so to say. You can see that the leaves on these trees pretty much dead still. So it becomes very important to look where you're stepping, think about the noise that you're creating, and weave your way through the bush. And hopefully we'll be able to share a magic moment with Africa's largest land mammal, in fact the world's largest land mammal, with you, and share it with you while we're in the bush over here. Magic, can't wait. Alright, we're going to go through here Let's see what's on the other side. Right, keeping our ears always peeled open. Now, we've just been asked a question, what happens if something charges me? Well, the trick with something charging, oh, I've got this massive fly that's flying around me. So, Gimp Band, you've just asked me a question, what happens if something charges me? It has happened before, it happens quite often when you overstep your boundaries and when you don't respect these animals. But basically a charge from an animal is just them saying, listen, you're getting a little bit too close, leave me alone, create some distance. And as soon as you create some distance, it usually diffuses the situation. Every so often it doesn't, and you've got to stand your ground there. It's quite scary. You've got to stand your ground. If you need to, stop that animal charging by shouting at them. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years or so, so 9 times out of 10 they stop, let you move away, you create some distance, and then it defuses the situation. So while it is absolutely a possibility that they do that, my hope is that we can move slowly through the bush, see him before he sees us, and join him without him even knowing that we're there. Come on. So he was moving through this thick stuff here. Let's see if he's come out on the other side. Gotta watch where we're walking. Can't see him here. At least not below us right here. Let's go through here. All right. Can't see him, which is a good thing. It means that he's moved through this thick stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through to the other side, see if we can pick him up. In the meantime, we're going to send you over to Jamie, but don't go anywhere. Hopefully when you come back, we're going to show you this elephant.
And what an exciting afternoon it has.
Rightio, everybody, don't worry, like I say, African bush and all that, giant clouds all over the sky, sending all sorts of charged ions down into the atmosphere. Goodness gracious, it's a wonder you can see me at all. Now, come and have a look over here. I've drawn a map. I'm the world's greatest artist. That is Djuma, that is Arathusa to the west of us, as I mentioned at the very beginning. There's Cheetah Plains to the east, 10,000 acres in all that we use as our sort of traversing area. Now, I'm going to show you where everybody is. Brent is over here. That's him there. You can see he's got nice long hair. Beautiful. And a cap on his head. Beautiful. Then Jamie, and Brent, of course, is with some lions. We'll just draw one lion there. We'll draw the male, I think. Don't you, Eggsy? Yeah. Yes, there's the male. Very nice. Okay. And then down on the southern boundary, going at a great speed, we'll draw her in her car. Something like that. We've got Jamie. There she is, and she's got long flowing locks, of course. And then there's VM sitting behind her like that. And he, of course, has a fairly orange beard. Very nice. Now, most importantly, of course, Jamie was looking for some wild dogs. Now, I've never really been able to draw wild dogs, or any kind of dog, but they look something like that. There we go. Sorry, let's just give it some teeth quickly, shall we? There we are. Marvellous. That's a wild dog. And Steph is over here. That's him there. And of course, what we'll do, how we'll differentiate Steph, of course, is his enormous biceps. There we go. That's S for his name. I just needed to remind myself where to put him. So that's where everybody is at the moment. I apologise for that. I'm going to have to do some work on that. Right. Brent Leo Smith is with this very male lion. Let's go back to him and see how that male is faring as the clouds close in.
So he went off following one lioness who came out to the side of the river bed. Now she's abandoned him and headed back towards her sister's aunt and so on, but we're going to stick with him. It is getting to that time of the day where we might be lucky enough to be treated to one of the most exhilarating, the most spine-chilling sounds in the African bush, and that is the roar of a dominant male lion. Fingers crossed. Of course, we are live, so you never know what's going to happen. And remember, any questions to the hashtag Safari Live. Now, he's half watching, half dozing. Now, the lions are definitely looking like they are keen to get moving shortly, and I'm hoping they take us on a little of adventure before the end of this safari. But we are going to be going into a break in the next minute or so. So don't forget to stick with us. We're going to keep looking at this beautiful lion. Now, he's watching one of the females, and now he's giving Brian a look. Brian, he's saying, what are you doing putting that camera on me? And there we go. So I'm really hoping they are hungry. They should get moving soon, and hopefully we're going to be able to follow them on a hunt in the not too distant future. So don't forget to stay tuned. Join us right after the break with the incredible Inkahumas. Now, once upon a time, the lions ate a buffalo that looked diseased. Oh, let's go on the move. And is it possible that they could have picked up a disease from the lion, from the buffalo? Sorry, I'm just going to... And it is possible. Unlikely. I mean, most of the lions here will probably test positive for bovine tuberculosis, or now feline tuberculosis, TB, which they've picked up. Oh, there's another male's just arrived. There could be a fight here. I'm just going to try to get us into the right spot. Now, if they're after... There we go. Oh no, it's going to be brotherly love till one of them gets too close to the ladies. There we go. I can't see which Birmingham. There we go. Just as I predicted, as soon as the one tried to get too close to the ladies, brotherly love turned into a brotherly smack. Look at this, he's chasing him. Getting a bit closer. Listen to this. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to find a way to get back to where those males are. And I don't think... Oh, the lionesses are running. There's actually going to be more of a fight. Hold on. I'm going to get through here, Brian. Look. Just they're fighting. The lionesses joined in, beating up the male. Okay, we've got to get in there, guys. We've got to get in there. Hold on. That sound is incredible. other cubs. And let me just get forward again a little bit. Wow, I'm shaking. That was incredible. Oh, I can't even drive. That was absolutely incredible. You saw the unbelievable power. And now we know why Mfumo is called the authority. And I didn't even get to see what other Birmingham boy that was. I don't know where he's gone. He's there. He's still here. We might get some roaring. I'm speechless. Wow. Wow. As I said, you never know what happens out here in the African bush. While you were gone, another male lion arrived in here, and we just witnessed a massive fight. I mean, an absolutely massive fight. It was insane. The lionesses got in. There was just absolute... I'm speechless. I mean, look at this. And right next to us here, I'm just going to lean out the car. The lion's over there. But during that fight, the other male, who's somewhere around there, lost a bit of his mane. And now a lot of you probably been wondering, what is a male lion's mane for? Well, if you ever see anything like that, it's for protection. Now, don't worry, the lions are close, but I am safe. Look at that. Male lion mane that has been dislodged during the fight. Isn't that absolutely incredible? I'm just too speechless, but it seems like we're going to be lucky enough to show you exactly what transpired. So let's go across to James so he can do that.
That was quite something, I have to tell you. Now, I know some of you missed that. We're going to take a look at a clip and just have a look at how angry those lions and then the lionesses got. That was the most astonishing thing. Now, I think what's happened there, and Brent will either disagree or agree with me, but I think one of those females is in estrus. That, of course, means heat, and so there's a huge amount of competition between the brothers. Let's head straight back to Brent and find out what he thinks went on there.
How absolutely unbelievable is that? There is Mfumo, the authority, the victor. I didn't even get a chance to see what other Birmingham male it was. So there's a perfect example. Now the females and the cubs, they're like, well, we want to get out of here. Well, there's still some of them hanging about, but it's quite likely that they're going to move now. I can't see where the other Birmingham boy is. Oh, be careful, cubby. Now, very often there's a cub right there. After a fight like that, the lion's blood is up. There we go. The lioness is going to charge in. She almost looked like she was going to charge in to try to keep them away from the cubs. So when they blood's up. They've just been in a fight. A cub trying to be affectionate or whatnot might just get in the wrong position, and that's possibly what could have happened to that injured cub unit. Oh no, but it looks like I'm just going to try and get a bit lower, get in there a bit more, and I also want to go see where the other male's got to, see if he picked up any new injuries. But that wasn't, how crazy was that? That was happening right in front of us. That was, you saw that massive power of a male lion, and now we've even got some souvenirs. It's not very nice smelling, and I'm now definitely going to have to disinfect my hands after picking that up because it's very, very smelly. There we go. Now, that incredible fight, Laura in New Mexico is wondering why they would fight if they're coalition members. Laura, more than likely there's a female who's in estrus or about to come into estrus that Mfumo, the authority, wants to mate with. So he will fight with his other coalition members for mating rights. The other time they will fight is over food. He keeps watching to see where that other male is. And it was amazing. As I said in the beginning, this could go two ways. I think most likely they're going to fight. And oh, careful, cubby. Okay, so it could go two ways. You see, they greeted each other friendly in the beginning. Then soon as that other male, I'm not sure who it was. Brian, did you get a view? I'm not sure which of the Birmingham was. Was it Tino? Was it Nena? Oh, was it Utsuko? I don't know. But all I know is Mfumo, the authority, is definitely aptly named. He asserted his authority in that situation. Now, what's interesting was the females. They were hitting them both, so they didn't want either of these male lions fighting this close to the cubs. And there we go, another perfect sign of the patience game playing off. We've waited it out with these lions, and boy, were we treated. Brian is very excited. I'm very excited. I've still got the shakes. It's been so long since I've seen a good male lion box. Managed to do myself some injuries getting there. I've got some new holes, new piercings. So I'm going to go try have a look where that other male who lost the fight went. Maybe do some doctoring of my poor injuries. But while we do that, it seems like Steph has got Africa's biggest animal on foot.
We've managed to catch up with this elephant again, and he's about 20 yards away from us. He's standing in that thicket. You can just see his tusk through the bush. He doesn't even know we're here. It's really, I can't describe the feeling. It's elation, it's a bit of adrenaline. It's exciting, it's like standing on the edge of a high dive board. He's going to come into the open now. We're just going to stand very still. He presents no danger to us right now. He's going to come right into the open there. And we're just going to stand still, not do anything. He's scratching himself. Here he comes. Okay, we just stand still. He's not more than 20 feet, 20 yards away from us. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely unaware of us being here right now. He'd be doing this whether we were here or not, sharing this with him. It's just such a magic close moment. Let that elephant move off. We're not going to follow him anymore. That was about as close as I enjoy being to elephants. And just the fact that that elephant didn't even know we were here. The wind was blowing straight into our faces. Couldn't have been better. Right out into the open. That young bull elephant. Just really, really cool. Now Dodge, you've asked me if elephants are usually alone. When they reach sexual maturity at around about 12 to 18 years old, bull elephant like that one separate themselves from the herd and they become nomadic. Quite often, young bull elephant like this will join older elephant, much older elephant that are past their prime, and they will basically live with one another for short periods of time, couple of years perhaps. But as soon as a bull elephant gets to about 35 years old, he becomes solitary, and he stays solitary for most of his life until he gets to about 50 years old. From 50 to 55 years old, they're not really in contention for the females anymore, and what happens then is they start to distance themselves from the herds and from the rat race of trying to impress the ladies, and they move to swampy grass areas, and there they end their days between 55 and 60 years old in the Kruger National Park. That young bull, because he's on his own, tells me that he's probably somewhere between 12 and 18. I would guess from his size and the size of his tusks that he's probably around about 15, 16 years old if I had to guess. So not an old elephant, but definitely a mature elephant. Very, very, very nice sighting that on foot, and because he didn't even know we were there, it makes it even better. Alright, Jamie has got some Impala to show you.
Well, what an exciting afternoon it has been. From elephants on foot to a search for leopards, an unsuccessful search for leopards, lions, wild dogs, and now some of the most beautiful creatures that the African bush has to offer. Steph mentioned Impala. We've also seen that there are Nyala here as well with this entire herd. The male off to the left, or two males off to the left, and a female behind them. Oh, three males off to the left. And then a herd of Impala moving about around them as well. Such beautiful antelope. Now, those of you who are regular viewers, you'll know, of course, we're eagerly anticipating the birth of the Impala lambs, and what beautiful weather for them to be born into. Fresh rain drizzling down upon the ground, and that's why, of course, poor Wim has to, every now and again, give our camera lens a little bit of a wipe. He's basically fulfilling the function that your windscreen wipers do on your cars, keeping our screen clean and free of raindrops. But despite the hassle that it means for us, we are rejoicing in the fact that it is raining. Any amount of rain is an absolute gift to the thirsty earth and the thirsty animals, and it means that these pregnant Impala will actually have food to feed themselves and support themselves and their new little ones that are due to be born any day now. And that's the really truly exciting thing about these live safaris, is that we get to follow the day-to-day cycles of the bush, but also each and every single day and month and year. Look at these four boys, four Nyala bulls, all gathered together. If we're really lucky, we might even get to see them do the Nyala dance, which is something that they do when they try to establish dominance. Oh, there's a little scrap there. All of the animals are full of the joys of spring, and that is why it is such a pleasure to be out here. So unfortunately I have run out of time to spend with you, but a big thank you to all of you for joining us and your wonderful questions, as well as to VM for his wonderful camera work. Until the next time I see you on the back of our safari vehicle, bye bye everybody.
Listen to this. It's not sort of the calm after the storm. The other male's been chased off, but there's just high, what's the word I'm looking for? You could cut the tension, thank you Brian, with the knife. The lionesses are constantly growling at the male. They don't want an aggressive male around the cubs, but every time he gets a bit close, look at that, look, you can see her growling. She's trying to keep the cubs away from the male. Now the cubs all excited, and they were like, oh, what was that? That was fun, can we do it? And you can see they're all quite revved up and calling and making noises. There we go, they're practicing for when they get big. But what an incredible sighting. Not something you get to see too often. 2 monster male lions giving it a full go, as well as the lionesses getting involved, trying to push both of those males. Careful, cubby. Ooh, gotta be careful, Dad's blood's up. And there we go. What an exhilarating show it's been. Can you believe that was so absolutely incredible? We got to witness that, and so wonderful having you on a live African safari. The rain's coming in. The lions are probably going to get on the move, so we're going to let you look at them for the last few seconds of the drive. And there's the Thun with his clean beard today, and back to the incredible cats. So there we go, the Nkahuma Pride and one big Birmingham boy from the dominant male lion coalition have treated us completely and utterly, spoilt us today. And of course you got to see African wild dogs with Jamie, and Steph showed you lots of fascinating things on foot. And James was James in the tent. But from all of us here at Safari Live, adieu.